Hi there, everyone. How are you? I am excited to be here with you today. And our story comes from Book 2, Rosa Ann Scott, Stories for Tweens, The Adventures of Robert and Ruth. And today's story is titled Black Lives Matter, Policy and Procedures, PhD Candidate. It's a mouthful, but let's get into our story today. So, once upon a time, Harry, Robert, Ruth, and their older sister Jessica were in the basement watching Black Lives Matter demonstration on their computers. Ruth put her hand under her chin and closed her eyes. She opened her eyes. She shook her head and asked the question, what is the reason for this hate against people of color? Said Robert. He shrugged his shoulders and said, lack of love, lack of respect. Harry, the neighbor from down the street, said, I've been talking this over with my dad, and he said, we need to have more diversity, equity, and belonging in our communities, churches of worship, and in our place of employment. Jessica, the older sister to Robert and Ruth, and a PhD candidate, said, this conversation is interesting. My thinking is for Mom and I, Robert and Harry, Ruth and Dad, members of our families, people in our church community, hey, people even on this street, for us all to get along, we must first submit ourselves to God. It's impossible to get along with others without the love of God restraining us from ourselves, from our selfish behaviors. If we read James 4, verses 1 through 3, James asks the question about people quarreling, arguing, warring, not getting along, displaying negative behaviors. And he, James, gives the answer for those negative behaviors. Said Harry. Sounds like we all need to be Christians. Robert said, is that even possible? Ruth said, Jess, you're so smart. But what is the reason for the negative behavior towards others? Jessica said, greed. It's all greed. If people in authority, whether it's police, whether it's politicians, whether it's kings and queens, whether it's people in our families, but if people of authority seek to control natural resources, or they seek to control poorer countries, or they seek to control the educational system so that there will always be a working poor and underclass, or they seek to control natural resources from various countries. If people do this and they are consistent and they're deliberate and it all has to do with revenue, then people in authority displaying the behavior that we can attribute to, they don't think Black Lives Matter. Wow, said Robert. Well, he continued, I'm not a kid anymore. I recognize I need to do more than daily praying, but praying is good. But I need to do more to impact my community in a proactive and to be more socially conscious. I can't change the world, but the love of Christ through me can do that. Hey, Maybe I can begin going to town council meetings and voice my views for rules and ordinances that impact me or impact my community in a negative way. Now you got it, said Jessica, the older PhD candidate's sister. And Robert, I feel your pain. I hear your frustration, and I'll attend town council meetings with you because policies and procedures must be fair. Policies and procedures must be just. Hey, bro, I got you. Harry said, Robert, I got you too. I'll attend town council meetings with you. Ruth snapped her fingers and waved her hand in the air as she said, Robert, I'll attend town council meeting with you too. I think town council meeting has become our new ground zero. Let's make it happen. Woo! I'm with you. Woo! This conversation is exciting. I believe now that I can do something to impact my community. Jessica said. Amanda Gordon said, there is always light if only we are brave enough to see it. If only we are brave enough to be it. Robert said, I want to be brave enough to see it. I want to be brave enough to be it. I want to know that I can participate in a positive way in my community. And now I believe I can by attending my local town council meetings with you, Jessica, and Ruth, and Harry. We can begin somewhere. And I'm happy that this is going to be our beginning and our contribution to our community in a positive way. It does not have to be negative. Woo! Yeah, let's do it. Let's make this happen. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.